yeah, it's crazy how, I'm speaking to somebody from, you went to Pennsylvania, but you're from New Jersey, right?
Yeah, I've been to PA. I've been everywhere, but yes, I'm from Jersey.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Jersey. I won't hold that against you. I love New Jersey. I love New Jersey.
It's an acquired taste.
We flew in and told what's Corey's last name? Big MMA fighter. He's gonna kill me for not remembering his last name. Brilliant fighter was in the UFC, is now in Bellator, and we flew in to Pennsylvania, and we literally spent the night in Corey Overtime Anderson. We flew in. I think we flew into we flew into Pittsburgh, and then literally drove an hour across the border, stayed in a seedy motel in New Jersey on the border, and then went and filmed him for the day, and then flew out.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah. But I have been to Griffin and Howe has an amazing shooting facility in New Jersey. I've been fortunate enough to see that facility. That's amazing.
That's beautiful.
We've got a phenomenal cameraman, cinematographer, storyteller called Sam Rivera, who lives in New Jersey. So I've got a couple of connections into New Jersey.
There's a few good ones here.
Yeah. Anyway, so that call that I was on was from a guy in Spain, and we released a documentary called Cabanero. So this will obviously drop a couple of weeks after we released it. And it's causing quite the stir. The Spanish government has been taken to court for environmental crimes. The European Union was petitioned to get involved. They took up the petition. So now the politicians are getting super nervous.
Good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And so it's weird, man. This ban of hunting got put in place over this national park, which isn't surprising across the world. But this national park, 42% of the national park is privately owned. So essentially, it's like, Brian, your land is now encompassed under the national park, and you're not allowed to hunt it anymore.
Wow.
And they're like, it's high fenced. It's got deer and pigs on it. What do you want us to do with these animals?
Then you're paying taxes.
How do we control them? Paying taxes on it. We're not allowed to hunt it anymore. So environmental disaster, habitat degraded, people's jobs have been lost. Wildlife economy has gone to nothing. The economy of the rural community around it has gone to nothing. All because of this one little action that is, banning of hunting is not going to happen. It's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to hurt anyone. It's not going to hurt the environment or wildlife.
Right.
And so, now the government's come back to the table and say, okay, we want you to manage, and we will pay you to manage the deer. It's all in the semantics.
Red tape.
Brian Melvin, welcome to the Blood Origins podcast. First time guest.
Yes, sir.
Had you heard of Blood Origins before we reached out to you?
Absolutely.
Are you just saying that to blow smoke up my ass?
No, I wish I was, but no, I'm not. It's no. You guys are everywhere. You're doing some big stuff out there. Obviously, you've got you got a great following across the whole hunting community.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do. Have you done a podcast about this topic? Because I thought, how many have you done?
A few now. It blew up it blew up pretty quick with the whole situation. So
I apologize we didn't get in like right at the spear tip. No. Typically we're at the spear tip, but
no,
it was a good one.
It was good. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to it. There's a lot we can discuss, positive and negatives, all kinds of good stuff. Yeah, I did a few, but it's been great. Every conversation's been different. Everything that comes up, hunting in general, but this, obviously the reason that why I'm here for the bear hunt in New Jersey is a big sensitive subject as a whole. But yeah, it's been a journey. It's been interesting.
100%. So just give me a little bit of background on who you are, Brian.
So again, as we covered, I'm from Jersey, just a Jersey boy out here that enjoys hunting. I'm a professional engineer in my real life, if you will. And hunting.
You work for a consulting company or?
And it's sales firm doing commercial HVAC stuff in Manhattan.
Okay.
A little bit in New Jersey and also Manhattan. But basically work to play. I'm basically trying to make some money so we can keep hunting, keep the family happy. But my real passion is running around the woods and chasing whatever we can. I got a good crew of guys, and we run around definitely all over New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. And are
those New Jersey whitetails behind you?
Those are a couple Jersey whitetails behind me. I got a few in the room.
They grow them that big?
Yeah, you want me to move? There's a couple good ones in there. Yeah,
Holy shit, man!
there's a couple good ones. Yeah, there's some
What's
good
the
ones back
biggest scoring whitetail you've killed
in New
in
Jersey.
Jersey? Yeah.
I just shot a 160 this year.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a really. You'll see it on my Instagram page. It was a good one this year. I was after him for a little bit, but there's some big deer out here. People don't realize there's 200s. You just got to find them.
Sleepy
y-
state.
It's just tough hunting. It's not quite the same. The rural out west, bigger bucks. I mean, obviously, we're not talking Iowa. It's not even close to that. But you got to do a lot of door knocking. You got to do a lot of
Yeah, but
boots on
160
the
to
ground.
200 is nothing to sneeze about.
No. Hey, I'm very happy with it. Absolutely. No, definitely never gotten anywhere near 200, but I'm still here. I'm still kicking. Still keep going. But
is
yeah,
it mainly private land hunting in New Jersey?
No, these are every deer you see over me right now is all public land.
Wowza.
Yeah, the one that I just shot was actually on a municipal because part of a hunt, and that was a little bit different. But there's plenty of public. There's a lot of public. People don't realize how much public is in New Jersey. Just got to get out there and grind it out like any other state. It's no different. But there's incredible hunting in New Jersey. The bear hunting is. People don't realize what that's about. I mean, we have some of the largest black bears in all of North America.
Well, you definitely have the highest density of black bears in North America.
Yes.
And density is numbers of bear per area.
Correct. And that is a fact for sure. And size, people don't realize. I mean, guys are going to British Columbia, going up north, and they're looking for, 350, 400-pound bears, and that's a monster. We're passing 400. It's like they're raccoons. We're looking for the 6s, 7s, and this one was 900. The reason I'm here, we'll talk about them in a bit. But there's some really big black bears. I put a buddy out this year on a nice 550. We have a bunch more in the 6s that we'll be chasing next year. So there's a lot. There's a lot around.
So how does somebody hunt bears in New Jersey? What are the legalities around bear hunting in New Jersey?
So some of the bigger subjects on the rules for New Jersey that are different from other states are you're allowed to bait. However, you are not allowed to be within 100 yards of that bait. So you have to be 101 yards away from that bait. We have 2 seasons. We have a weekend.
You can be in line of sight of the bait?
Yes, you can. As long as you're 100
what? So all they're saying is you have to be. All they're saying is we want you to have at least 100-yard shot.
Correct. That's it. Which, if you actually think about
what's the basis of the bloody rule?
Someone that doesn't understand the ethics of a clean kill is the basis of the rule. It makes no sense.
Look, I would have expected you to say, because in Mississippi, I think this is still the law. I can't remember. Don't hold me to it. But baiting for whitetail deer, you can bait.
Okay.
Maybe you can't. I don't remember the laws. But somewhere that you said you can bait.
Right.
But the bait cannot be in line of sight of your stand.
Got it. Nope, that is
not a rule. You can't shoot over the bait. You can't shoot on the bait, but the bait can be within an area that you're within. This is. I would have expected you to say.
No.
Okay. 100 yards away, not line of sight. Oh my God.
No. You can have a clean line of sight. Now we have 2 seasons. We have October as a week, and we have December as a week, and that's it. The October season, Monday through Saturday, you can use bow all the way through those 6 days, and then the last 3 days you can use a muzzle loader. So obviously with a bow, there's no way to reach out to 100 yards ethically to shoot an animal. So you have to cut them off and, pattern them, get them on their exit.
Whoa. Stop. The 100-yard
is a part of the bow hunt.
Pertains to bows as well?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Makes no sense. Jersey, listen, I'm from Jersey. Where the way that they're making the rules is not the brightest, 100%. It's just
so. Again, explain. You have a week in October. That's bow only.
No, it's the whole week is bow, but the last 3 days are bow and muzzleloader. So they allow the 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, to include muzzleloader.
It gets even better.
Yep.
So they want you at 100 yards, but they won't give you an accurate weapon.
Correct.
They are accurate nowadays, but they'll give you a primitive weapon.
Correct. Yeah.
Like a muzzleloader.
The whole concept behind this whole thing is because New Jersey, for whatever reason, is one of the biggest states that has a huge anti-bear hunting population. We have billboards all over the state talking about it, people fighting it, big protests that are constantly going out at the check-in station. For whatever reason, it happens in New Jersey. It doesn't happen so much a lot of other places where there's bear hunts on every other state and nobody cares. We're allowed 1 bear. That's it. And you cannot shoot a sow that has cubs that are under 75 pounds. You cannot shoot any cubs that are 75 pounds or less. What else can we do here? Oh, and then the December season, which is Monday through Saturday, is no bow, only firearm.
But
I
you
don't
can
know
use
why
a
they
modern firearm in December.
Yes, you can. You can use a shotgun or a muzzle loader. You cannot use any rifles in New Jersey for any hunting.
Oh, okay. So whitetail
None.
deer, you can't even use a centerfire
No.
rifle. Okay.
No, you cannot.
Okay, so that's probably just the gun law.
Yes, that's
pushing
a rule
down on the wildlife regulation.
Correct. Exactly right. Those are the big laws around the baiting and around the bear hunting for New Jersey. Just can't be within that. Now, you can bait all you want, walk into your site, pull your bait out right then, walk it 101 yards away, and sit down over that site that was just baited as long as the bait's not there. Like if you were using a barrel, clean it up, take 10 minutes, clean it all up, walk that barrel 110 yards away, sit down over that site at 20 yards with your bow or your gun, and you can hunt that site, no problem. And let's say you don't shoot anything, you can put the bait right back and come back another day.
But so in that scenario, like, is a gummy worm that's left on the ground
Yes.
a piece of bait, right?
Correct.
So you have to be completely diligent like crazy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Usually we'll stop baiting a couple days before. If you're going to try and hunt a bait site, depending if you're like in a really bad swamp and you really can't get 100 yards away, we'll stop baiting like 2 days before and really clean the site up, and then use non-food-based scents to kind of keep that bear in the area, because if it's a food-based scent, it goes against the rule, yada, yada, yada. But the bigger bears, like the one I'm here to talk about, you're not going to kill that bear over bait. It's just not going to happen. Even if you could, if you were allowed to, you're not going to do it.
Why? Are they too smart?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Really?
Way smarter than any of these deer that, if you get a 5-6-year-old buck, 7-year-old deer, and everyone goes, oh, they're crazy smart. Now talk about a 15 or 20-year-old animal that's seen what the deer have seen 10 times over. Way smarter. They're incredible. Hardest animal I've ever hunted.
Are there lots of bear hunters in New Zealand? New Zealand. New Jersey.
Yes. There's a pretty good amount in regards to the overall hunting population, but I would say there's probably a small core of kind of hardcore guys that are pretty tight niche.
And is it the same situation as in Pennsylvania in terms of like you guys pick up an opportunity tag for bears?
Yeah. I mean, you could buy your tag. It's only $2 tag. So guys come in from Russia, from all over the world to come into New Jersey.
For non-residents, it's $2.
$2 tag, and I think it's $100 license and $2 tag.
What is wrong with? Come on, New Jersey.
Yeah,
like I did an infographic around Pennsylvania, and I should have picked it up before I got on here. I'm going to see if I can find it quickly. But we did a infographic for Pennsylvania bear hunting. And it's unbelievable the amount of money that comes into the state of Pennsylvania. Yes. Here, I think I'm about to find this right here. Here we go. 2021. This is data from the 2021 Pennsylvania bear season. And I would think that this is probably close to it. Well, New Jersey could probably generate this amount of revenue if
they change
if they change their tags.
Yeah.
But this is insane. So in 2021, they sold 215,000 tags.
Wow, that's a lot. We don't sell
a lot
that
of
many.
bears, huh?
Yeah, we don't sell that many.
Okay.
I know that for a fact. I think they sold 4,000.
Oh, okay. So those tags generated almost $4 million. And for the majority, like 95% of those tags are opportunity tags. So the guy's going in to buy their whitetail license. Right. Oh, I'm going to buy an extra $10 or $20 or whatnot for my bear tag.
Right. But their season is much longer, right?
Yeah, it's much longer.
It's much longer.
3,600 bears were killed in that year. The resident tag is $16.97. The non-resident tag is $36.97. 3,600 bears killed out of 215,000 tags sold. So the success rate, I'd love to know in New Jersey, maybe you know, the success rate of killing a bear in Pennsylvania is 1.68%.
Wow. Yeah, I mean Jersey. I think they sold somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 tags, and they just finished the last bear hunt last week, and I think we're under 500. It's like 467. Don't hold me to that number, but it's under 500 for sure for the year. So whatever that math is, but which is higher percentage than what you just said for sure by a lot. But it's a lot of the guys that bear hunt in New Jersey, or a lot of people that do it. Bear
Yeah,
hunting
because
is
I don't think you can bait in Pennsylvania.
you cannot.
Yeah, that's why the percentage is so low.
Yeah, you cannot. Absolutely not. Same thing with New York. You can't bait. Jersey has always been allowed to bait. When they first brought the bear hunt back a couple years ago or a while back, we had some stupid rules where you were allowed to bait, but if you wanted to bait, you had to be on the ground. You couldn't use a tree stand. So you had to be level with the bear. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, given all the rules that you've told me right now.
Yeah.
It's just like you have to
so
wave
they
a
changed
Cinderella wand if you want to get within 10 more yards of the bait.
That's it.
Bait.
So they changed that. They pulled that rule, and then they gave us the rule of the 100 yards because of whatever. They flipped a coin, and someone agreed to it, whatever it was. I don't get it. But it is what it is.
So you were fortunate enough this year, 2024.
Yep.
Is it the state record?
Yes.
Killed the state record black bear in New Jersey. How much was it?
It was 770.5 pounds dressed, estimated somewhere between 880 and 910 live weight.
Have you looked to see if any bear in the United States has been killed bigger?
No one. It's the largest.
You have the U.S. record.
For weight. So let's be very clear with that. For weight. Because again, Boone and Crockett and for Pope and Young, they base things on the skull, right? But for largest black bear, as of this year, the largest one was 780 pounds shot in North Carolina last year. Intact.
Oh, I can imagine.
Not dressed.
Oh, intact.
Intact. Right.
Who is the person that you would be able to talk to about that record? Like, where does it just live in the?
I've had this conversation with multiple people, and it's one of those things where I wasn't chasing a record. Love to talk to somebody if there is somebody. I have no idea.
You need to contact the Guinness Book of World Records.
Right.
That's who needs to hold this.
There's some people that were telling me because I gutted the bear, it's going to disqualify me or this and that. And then some people said it won't because they'll give me a percentage. But they were normally give you somewhere between 16 and 18% for the innards, right? If you do that math, I was like, give me 10%. I still beat it by 100 pounds. We're good. So we'll keep having that conversation, and that's fine with me. Again,
so
wasn't chasing this.
If we left it as is the number, and let's just call it for what it is, if you were disqualified for gutting it, which is crazy, then you would be not the largest bear ever killed in North America.
Correct. I guess if it was at 770, it would be number 2, I believe, because I think the one below the 780 was like 757.
But without its guts.
With its guts.
No, yours. Yours was
mine
number
was
2 without its guts, and you were 10 pounds short. So there's no way the guts were just 10 pounds of your bear.
No question. No question.
Yeah. That's easy. That's easy to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's impressive, dude. Did it? How long are you successful every year? Do you kill a black bear every year?
No, I pass a lot of bears. I've after this bear for 3 years. So I was specifically after this one bear for a couple years, tracking him through an area. I've shot, the last bear I shot was in the 4s. We pass a lot of smaller bears. I have a whole crew of guys, a bunch of guys that like to shoot bears all the time.
Just because of that one, you've just got that one tag and you want to put your tag on a big bear.
Right, and we have a bunch of guys that have necessarily not be chasing a big bear, and we'll shoot a couple of the smaller or medium-sized bear. When I say smaller, and I say a 350-pound bear, there's guys on here going to think I'm a jerk, right? Because they're going to go and spend $6,000 or $8,000 to go to British Columbia and shoot a 350-pound bear. I am not looking down on a 350-pound bear, but I'm just saying, in what we're seeing, that's not something we're necessarily targeting. Just wanted to say that.
But you don't know this about me, but black bears are my nemesis.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay. I have hunted black bear over bait.
Okay.
In Maine.
Okay.
For a total of about, I'd say I've put close to I think I totaled up like 80 plus hours in a tree stand.
Whew.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I've seen 2 cubs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
And there are some stories like, there's stories that I'm technically classified a berry picker when it comes to bear hunting.
Okay.
You know what
What does
that
that
is?
mean? No.
In traditional societies, there were hunters and there were gatherers. And those gatherers were berry pickers.
Got it.
And
Got it.
I
Got
am
it.
in the gatherers part of that traditional community because I can't kill a black bear.
Oh.
And I have had friends of mine, a cinematographer actually, that went up to this bear camp with me, never bear hunted in his life before, wasn't planning on bear hunting,
Oh,
went
boy.
out in the woods with a Sharps rifle that he got given that morning in plaid and jeans and killed a bear within 30 minutes of sitting.
Wow. Wow.
It's just my luck. It's just my nemesis.
Well, if you find yourself in Jersey come the next season, give me a shout because I can't guarantee a giant, but I can almost guarantee a bear. Because I had
Okay.
I was running 6 baits and I had close to 30 bears on my barrels.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So how did you know about this bear for so long?
So I actually ran into him 2 years or 3 years prior in late season when I started doing some scouting. He popped up on one of my cameras in an area that is known for having a lot of bears, and specifically a couple always has good sized bears. Has great genetics in the area. And he
Why
popped
is
up.
that area good for big bears? Is it close to urban areas? Are these trash bears, or they just are natural, lots of
I
big
mean,
open area?
I would say trash bears are pretty much predominant in New Jersey, right? There's
Okay.
going to be some ag bears if you're going to get way west. But this bear this area has a lot of swamps in it. And if you trace big bears, they're not in big timber, at least from what I've experienced. They'll travel through good big timber for transition areas and so forth, but they're going to live in some nasty swamps. This area specifically has some really wet, nasty swamps in and around some rock formations all the way through 10 square, 20 square mile area that really holds a lot of good bears, good numbers. I found him on my trail cameras late season and realized, he was a pretty significant bear at that time, and he was larger than anything we were seeing for a while. He was really distinguishable. He had a big scar down his side. People had known him in the neighborhood, so he built up an allure pretty quickly. And then fast forward to 2 years ago, that's when I really started to really chase him when the season was getting going. We started about 2 months before the season, baiting, patterning, trying to find him. I found him, and then he did what all big bears do a couple times. He jumped on me, left the area. Every time you put a little pressure on him, he would go a mile away. I'd have to find him again. He'd be holed up in another swamp, then he'd do it again 2 weeks later. Just the game. Anyone that has chased monster bears will say the exact same thing. They have a sixth sense that everyone talks about, and it's so true. They just, for no reason, they just get up and go. And there's a reason. There's always a reason. You did something. You screwed it up. And they won't put on the pressure. They won't handle the pressure that a 200-pound bear will handle. You walk down the trail too many times, he picks up your scent too many times, he's out. See you later. I don't care about the bait. I'll find another bow. I'll eat something else. I don't care. So chased him for that whole year, had him patterned, found him 3 different times when he jumped on me, had him patterned all the way to opening morning. I thought it was a slam dunk. I was patting myself on the back. Let's rock and roll. He was on the bait till 6:30 that morning. He walked away. Every afternoon, he'd come back around 4 o'clock. I was in the stand, had all the cameras rolling. We're videoing. We're doing everything. He didn't come back for 6 months. Gone.
Jeez.
Just gone. Just vanished on me. And then obviously that set me into a tizzy and an absolute, it was already an obsession, but that just made it that much more. And then I got back on him. He showed back up in May, got back on my cameras in the same general area. And we started the game all over again. He kept jumping.
I've just never heard this. I've never heard somebody patterning black bears and fixating on 1 or 2 black bears. Again, my experience has just been like, okay, whatever black bear turns up at the bait, if it's big enough, shoot it.
Yeah, it's a little different. Again, there's a niche in Jersey. The guys that chase bears, and they get a certain bear under their skin. And this is what I'm saying is nothing new. They all do it. Everybody does it. Yeah, and a lot of bears are pretty unique. I put my buddy on one that had a completely dark, giant black face this year. He wanted that bear. It was very distinguishable. He got him on pattern. We put him. He was a great bear. But once you're chasing these big ones, it gets under your skin, and it's brutal. I mean, I love chasing the deer. I'm a big duck hunter. We do a lot of hunting, turkey hunting. There's whatever it is, I'll chase it. But the bears are hard.
Why are they hard?
They're just the big bears, I should say. I can go and put a barrel out in a
They're
certain
just
area.
mentally tough to like figure out. Is that what's hard about them?
Absolutely, they're just so much smarter than most of the animals that you're going to chase. Just the age. I mean, think of any animal that you chase that's 15 years old.
Yeah,
You
sure,
know any?
sure.
Yeah, it's just very rarely do you get to chase something that old.
Mm.
But anyway, getting back to the big guy, he showed back up in May, started to pattern him again, jumped on me again, disappeared to another swamp about, again, 1.5 miles away from where I originally was baiting him. Found him about a month before the season, got permission on some private pieces that he was using, and started my baits and started to go basically build a pattern on him and see if I could keep him in those areas that he looked like he was going to hold up in. One was a big 30-acre swamp. One was a small 6-acre swamp. I knew he was living in the 6-acre swamp and transitioning.
Are those two swamps connected?
No, they're not. They're divided by a main road. And he was transitioning
How far apart are those swamps?
We're talking 50 yards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, across a road. So
okay.
But the 6-acre swamp was just a pure swamp. Almost no timber in it whatsoever, except for maybe 25, 30 yards that you could punch in. Didn't go in there, knew he was living in there and was coming into where my bait was on the 30 acres. I just set up a pattern on him.
So you are purposely putting a bait in a swamp?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I won't bait anywhere else. If I'm going after if we're looking for big black bears, I would say 98% of them, and at least around us, I know South North Carolina is the same way, you're going to be looking in the nasty spots that you don't want to go. That's where the big boys are going to be.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's wet and it's cool and there's a lot of water, that's where they love to be. They're not going to be in the big timber. Guys will get pictures of the big guys in the open timber all the time. And it's generally at night. They're like, "Oh, I'm getting pictures of him." I'm like, dude, he's living a half a mile away or a mile away somewhere, and he'll transition through there, but he doesn't want to be exposed.
So you got a big bait barrel in this 30-acre swamp.
He didn't like barrels. He liked barrels to a point. Yeah, he was a little picky with that. He would come to the barrel once in a while, but when I stopped using the barrel and used a certain bait mixture, and I was using it in a certain area, he hit it constantly. I finally got him on a pattern. But he would never hit it in daylight in the afternoon. The only time I would get was middle of the night, and then he'd disappear and come back at like 5:30, stay there for an hour, and I would get like a 15 or 20-minute window in the morning in daylight before he'd head back to bed. He'd cross the road, go back into that 6-acre swamp, and sleep all day and do the same thing every other day. The only time he would come to the bait, though, is on a northwest wind. Outside of that, he would never come to the bait if the wind wasn't perfect because he couldn't check the area.
What a freaking you putting all of these puzzle pieces together, man. Like a northwest wind, he does this, and every other wind, he does something completely different.
He did. He just wouldn't come to it. I'm telling you, the big guys don't mess up very often. Again, if you chase them, it gets in your head a little bit. They're super, super smart. If they screw up, it's rare, and you have to capitalize on it. So that's what we tried to do. Patterned him for that situation. He made that pattern. We waited for Monday of the season to start. Of course, Monday was a southwest wind. And I was like, okay, I'm not going in there. I know I can't go in there. I'm going to blow him out if it's the wrong wind. So I stayed out of there. Tuesday was going to be a northwest wind. I jumped into the 6-acre piece, just about 25, 30 yards off the road to try and catch him coming back from my bait. So I waited to get a picture of him on my bait on the big piece. And I slipped in behind.
Could you see the bait from the 6 acres where you're standing?
No, it's 200 yards, 185 yards to be exact away.
Okay.
Waited for him on my camera. Saw a picture on my camera at 4:00 in the morning. Saw him on that bait, so I knew he was in that swamp. Jumped into the other piece of property and got up in the stand very early in the morning to basically wait him out. He stayed on the bait like he had done for weeks prior, and then basically watched him cross the road, come right down the trail. And I had the wind perfect. Everything was perfect. And for whatever reason, I had everything set up for a 22-yard shot right on the trail he'd been using. It looked like an elephant had been walking through the woods. He stopped at 35 yards behind the brush, didn't move for almost 3 minutes. I have no idea why. I didn't walk down that trail. The wind was perfect, and he just turned at a 90-degree angle and started walking away from me. I was losing. I couldn't imagine it. But I had one window at about 45, 50 yards away, and he just stopped and got him to stop in it and let the hour fly at 45 yards, found its mark. He ran 100 yards up on a rock bluff and put a second arrow in because he couldn't get up, and it was all over.
Jeez.
It was great.
He knew something was just animal instinct.
Unbelievable. Stop dead, didn't move, froze for a couple minutes, looked around, checked the wind. The wind was perfect, 10
You
mile an
weren't
hour.
waving your hands around like,
I
hey,
wasn't
here I
dancing
am.
in the stand. I wasn't doing anything.
That's what I've been accused of, bear hunting. They're like, what are you doing in the stand? Are you freaking dancing or moving around or using your phone and social media? I said, dude, I'm not moving. I promise.
Yeah, they're picky. Again, their eyesight's not great, but their nose is better than a whitetail's or anything. You just can't mess up with the wind. And I did not walk in that woods for weeks specifically. I waited to the morning that I was going to hunt. It was the first time I went into that 6 acres. I stayed across the street the whole time. But he knew something, but he didn't get far enough away. 45 yards is within the range I feel confident with, and lucky enough that the arrow found its mark, and it was game over from there on.
How big do you think he was when you were on camera? Like looking at beginning of the season, you're like, how big do you think he was?
I thought he was in the 7s. I didn't think we
Really?
thought he was. Yeah, we thought he was about 700. Obviously we were wrong. Cameras play tricks with people too. Same thing with deer. Sometimes I was chasing that deer this year, and I thought he was like in the 150. And then when I got up to him when he came in, when we were hunting, I was like, oh wow, okay, he's a little bit bigger. So yeah, we were wrong. I thought figure 750, and he was definitely closer to 9 for sure. But
why didn't you weigh him before gutting him?
So October in New Jersey,
super warm,
8:00 in the morning, waiting for the check-in station. If I waited, I would have lost him, 100%. If you shoot a big bear, they turn into a pressure cooker. You got to get them gutted really quick. I'm not about wasting the animal, so it was an easy decision.
Did you think about keeping the guts?
Yeah, they won't weigh it. It doesn't. That you lose so much blood.
You could have waited.
You could have. I don't think it would have. I don't know if it would have
put in one of those big black. Did you use one of those black sleds to pull them out of the woods?
I did. I don't know if you saw the pictures. There was a big. Yeah, we put him in a huge sled that he fit in. There's a whole picture of me laying down next to him, and he just dwarfs me, and it was awesome. But again, I wasn't chasing a record, right? I was chasing a very specific bear, and I had a lot of history with him. Yeah. And it was an easy decision. We got him out of the woods. I could have went straight to the check-in station, waited for them. I knew as soon as I got there, it was going to turn into a circus, and I was going to lose an hour or two being there, which is what happened after I got there and got him. I got him gutted first, and then went there, and that's exactly what happened. If I had gone there first, I know for a fact I would have lost him. There's no question. So,
and when you say you would have lost him, what do you mean?
Oh, the meat would have spoiled.
So definitely you eat bear?
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic. Now I've eaten the northern bears, like the Canada and the Maine bears.
Not good.
Great. Not great. Our Jersey bears, for whatever reason, they eat a lot of acorns and a lot of berries. They don't eat a lot of meat. They are really good eating. I mean, fantastic.
What's your favorite way to eat bear?
Probably Italian sausage. They are phenomenal in Italian sausage. They're a little bit, it's a little fattier, greasier meat, so it doesn't get dried out like some other meats do when you're cooking a sausage, and it's fantastic, really great. We use it for everything. I got 295 pounds of it in the freezer. But yeah, it was an easy.
Is that Italian sausage in a link form, or is it just in a ground form?
No, it's in a link form. Yeah.
Okay.
I got about 50 pounds of that by itself. That'll be good for the summer, and everyone will love barbecues. Everyone wants it. Everyone loves it. But it was an easy decision. We love to eat it. We definitely didn't want to waste it. I wouldn't shoot something I'm not going to eat or use anyway. The last 3 bears that were in contention for the largest bear taken, all spoiled because they all weighed. Yeah, I had a couple conversations with people about that. The last, so that's not my game. That's not what I'm about. Again, records are cool. Wasn't the reason I was doing it. It was an awesome journey. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I screwed up a lot, which is all part of it. But they're incredible animals. They really are. They're super smart.
It's just cool to hear that, because you hear it all the time. Again, maybe because it's obviously the most common species to chase in terms of whitetails. But people identifying whitetails, chasing whitetails, patterning a certain whitetail, and going after that one. You name that animal. Boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
You just very, very, very rarely do you hear about other animals like that. You hear about an elk or a mule deer or something like that, but a black bear, you've never really heard about it.
Right.
And I think the circles that you describe and the small bear hunting, dedicated bear hunting, black bear hunting circles, the typical common citizen, blue-collared guy who does this, you never hear of those communities.
Correct.
You never hear of the way that they embed themselves and what you guys go through and whatnot. It's amazing.
It's small. It really is small. And I'm relatively, there are guys by no means do I consider myself an expert or anything like that. I think I'm a pretty decent hunter, chased a lot of good quality animals. I've only started bear hunting about 7 or 8 years ago. There's guys been doing it obviously way longer than me. I'm a little OCD and a little crazy the way I do things. I was running 30 cameras, going crazy and running baits, tracking, and doing all kinds of stuff. That's just the way I do things. But I've learned a ton from other guys that have been doing it longer for me, and I'm constantly learning. But yeah, the bear hunting community itself is pretty unique, and a lot of the guys are crazed about it more than anything else. More than deer, more than anything. I got my deer buddies, I got my duck buddies, I got all that stuff. The bear guys, that's what they live and die for it. They go
Live and
crazy
die
for
for 2 weeks a year. Less than duck hunting.
It's brutal. It is brutal. And I'm a huge duck hunter, but I don't think I've ever put that much time into a specific animal than I did with this bear. I mean, it was every single day. Every day.
But you don't, like, with the guys, because you hear of people that get obsessed, they'll, like, sit in a stand all day.
No.
For that animal. You don't do that for bears, hey?
I mean, you can if you want. Again, it's like one of those things, same thing chasing a mature deer. You don't want to burn your spot, especially with an animal that has incredible nose, even better than a deer. So you got to pick and choose. At least that's my opinion to it. If you're just going to go and hunt the hunt and spend your time, that's one thing. We only have a week. So yeah, that makes things a little tougher. If you don't have the right wind or right temperatures or right weather, you kind of have to change things up. But do a lot of guys sit all day for them? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of guys that did it this year, but the bigger bears, they're not moving in the middle of the day. They're moving just like a large whitetail, first light, last light type of thing. But you just got to play the game, build the right mousetrap and play the game properly.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's what hunting is, man. You know, it's not just whacking and stacking and killing and whatnot.
Absolutely. And people don't realize, like, we're allowed to bait, but just baiting a big bear itself is a monster undertaking itself. I mean, I was running, I don't know. I know I went through probably 6,000 to 8,000 pounds of bait in 6 weeks, which, buying.
And what are you using specifically? If you're allowed to say.
Yeah, I can say. So a lot of people
don't give your secret out there. No.
You know? So a lot of people talk about the sweets, right? Donuts and so forth, which is great. That's what we consider a big bait. I feel like a lot of guys make a mistake and they focus on big baits. Big baits are great, except for the fact that they go fast. If you get a couple bears in your barrel, you're getting 24 hours, maybe 48 hours on your barrel. So the big thing is to change up and make sure you have some kind of granular bait too. And I love, like, we buy a big totes and a couple 1,000 pounds at a clip of a custom blend trail mix that's got nuts in it. It's got some cookie morsels, peanut butter morsels, marshmallows, all kinds of stuff in there. And I really think that peanut protein actually helps the bear stomachs out a lot, because if you use a lot of big baits that are super sweet, you can walk around the woods and there's just diarrhea everywhere, and it's terrible. And the bears don't feel good. And actually, you'll lose a couple bears that'll disappear for a couple days because they're not feeling good because they're sitting on donuts for 3 days. But when you mix in the proteins on the peanuts and stuff like that, I never had that problem. They stay on the baits, they get patterned to it, they love it. It's great.
You don't have that problem of getting diarrhea from donuts, is what you're saying?
Me personally, no. And then I don't have the bears. The bears seem to be great on my baits. I keep them keep them mixed up pretty well, and I keep the bait sites really, really clean, which is another big thing. But it definitely sounds ridiculous, and I've had this talk a bunch of times, that making sure that you have both type of baits seems to really help those bigger bears stay in the area. They don't get tired, they don't get bored, and it works.
Last question. Yep. How many times have you yourself eaten your bait?
I don't think there's a number. Many
times.
I mean,
I will say this. When I was in Maine and they were putting like the bait bags together, I looked at the barrel. I was like, ooh. Oh, geez, what is that? I mean, look, oh, gummy worm. That's pretty darn good. Oh, an M&M. Okay, I'll take that M&M.
Absolutely. Totally guilty. I'd be lying if I wasn't. Absolutely. I'm making baits up in the garage, and my fiance and my son are up there, and he's 1.5 years, and I'm putting everything's fresh, donuts mixed, and she walks out there, and I wish I had video of it. He just walks over to the things, like, grabs, he goes, and it's a half a donut or something. Like, oh, guys, come on, this is for the bears. What are you doing? So yeah, I've done it 100 times, no doubt.
Too funny. Brian, thank you so much, man. I know you've talked about the story a lot, and we're a little late to the party, but that's a fantastic story. And I think a lot of people, just like me, have no idea when it comes to like the effort that goes into killing something like that. So congrats,
Yeah.
well done.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.